Hi everyone, Glenn from Elite Brands here. Shooting a series of videos on how I use AI, my preferred tools, and how they can help you, or ways that you can use AI inside your Google Ads accounts, creating ad copy and analyzing data. Now, there's lots of tools out there. AI has become the cornerstone of a lot of marketers these days, and most people are obviously aware of ChatGPT, OpenAI's ChatGPT, and most people have ChatGPT accounts or OpenAI accounts. Then you've also got Anthropic's Claude, which is another great tool. But there's a particular tool that I use pretty well every single day, and it's a tool called Sim Theory. And the reason I use Sim Theory is it's got a culmination, or I can choose which large language model that I want to use, whether it's ChatGPT, OpenAI GPT-5, which is the current version at the time of this recording. I can use Anthropic Claude models, I can use Grok models. Pretty well most of the major OpenAI AI models are supported in Sim Theory, and I've been using this tool for coming on 2 years now, and it's what I use most of the time for pretty well all my work inside when I want to use AI. Now, I'll quickly explain to you why I use this tool as opposed to just using ChatGPT. Now, I still have a ChatGPT account. You can see here that in one of these tabs I've got open, I was just running a test in there, and for some reason it just stopped. And this is what I find with ChatGPT. It can be a little bit hit and miss. I've got a lot of GPTs that I use over here inside ChatGPT, so I still use it, but it's not something I use all the time. Sim Theory is. Now, the thing I like about Sim Theory, as I said, is you've got the ability to choose multiple models. You can see there's all Anthropic Claude models here. There's all the GPT models from OpenAI all the way down to O4 Mini. There's the O3 Mini High models. There's Gemini as well. I love Gemini. I still use Gemini a lot, and I use that in particular AI Studio, that's for another video. I use that every day as well. Then we've got all the DeepSeek models. We've got all the Grok models in here as well. And pretty well the thing I like about using Sim Theory is as soon as a model is released, it's pretty well available in here to use. We've got Mistral, probably haven't used that much at all. Amazon models, I have to say I haven't used that as well. And these are the open source GPT models, and there's even some meta models in here. I have to admit I haven't used these, but this is one of the things that I like about Sim Theory is I can choose which model I want to use. Now, secondly, what I also create is a lot of assistants or agents. Assistants inside Sim Theory, they're called assistants, and I can create multiple assistants for a particular task, and I use them a lot for client accounts. So I might have generic assistants that will do generic tasks, but then I'll also have brand assistants that have grounded knowledge on those particular accounts or brands that I want to have the AI focus on. Now, inside Sim Theory, you can see all these tabs up here, and this is another thing I like about this as well. I can be running multiple tasks at any one time, and they can all be run in parallel. And so I can just click a new session here and then choose whichever agent that I want to use, or search for an agent that I've created, and I can use that as well. You've got the ability to drag this up and down, which just gives you a bit more space in what typing your prompt. But this is the reason why I like using Sim Theory, is that I can create I'd look in the top right. These are a lot of the assistants that I've got and I've built. I've got a lot of assistants in here that I've built, and a lot of them all perform a different task. And so for argument's sake, this is a brand that I'm looking after. And then inside the brand, if I go into the instructions, you'll see that there's the ability to add knowledge sources. So I can add sources like I can add files, I can upload a file, a document or something. I can add a website and it will crawl the website, or just paste in raw text. I can give this custom instructions, and I'll show you how I build these custom instructions for clients. This is another game changer, and this is fairly recent, is Sim Theory allows you to use MCPs. So most of the time when I'm creating, depending on what assistant I create, I'll always try and attach a Firecrawl, a Google search, Perplexity Deep Research, and the Code Interpreter. These are my stock standard 4 MCPs that I attach to an assistant. And this is great, especially if I'm looking to create, say for argument's sake, I want to create specific ad copy for a particular URL, for a website link. The Firecrawl MCP or the Perplexity Deep Research or the Google search, it will go through and crawl that URL and gather the information based on the instructions that are inside the assistant and what I want it to do and what information I want it to extract from a URL. I like having these MCPs enabled. The thing inside Sim Theory is they've got an MCP store and they're consistently adding to these MCPs. So like I said, you actually have to go into an MCP and you have to install an MCP or manage an MCP. As you can see here for the Firecrawl, I've set it up for the Firecrawl connection and these are enabled. And like I said, inside each assistant, I will go through and I will generally put in an MCP that I want only enabled, that I only want them to use. So I find this extremely beneficial because yes, you're using whatever agent or assistant that you want to use for a particular task. B, you can use whatever model that you want to use. And C, you've got the ability to add MCPs to each agent. Not only that, you can toggle memory on and off for each assistant. So you can ask it to remember the conversations that you've been previously having. So you can turn this on or off. It's entirely up to you. Sometimes enabling the memory, especially if there's overlap in the, if it was attached to a conversations like this one here, this one isn't relevant. So I can ask it if I've got it, if this information is inside the memory of, actually there's a lot in here that shouldn't be in here. If there's information inside the memory that you don't want, you can just simply exclude it as well. Oh, sorry, that was for going through the wrong one. So yes, it's been asking, I probably should have the memory off for this agent because I don't want it to remember the previous conversations because there's been multiple brands that I've been running this assistant on. So highly beneficial. Not only that, if I've completed a conversation, and we'll look at a conversation here, I can then change the assistant to move to another assistant and continue the conversation. Pretty well similar to how you would tag or ask a GPT if you're using ChatGPT's GPTs. Very similar concept. Not only that, you can actually manually turn MCPs on and off in each chat. So for argument's sake, if I just wanted to use the Code Interpreter, I could toggle all of these MCPs off in this next chat. And then if I want to go to another chat, I could just toggle the MCPs back on. This is a tool that I use, like I said, every single day. I find it great in that I can run multiple instances consecutively. I've got my history that I can see. I can organize everything into folders by brands or whatever I want. I can see at a glance which models I'm using in my chats. I can see which assistants I'm using in my chats. I find this a really, really great tool for my day-to-day in doing the things that I need to do inside my account or inside Google Ads accounts, especially when creating ad copy. Why it's my go-to tool that I use every single day. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish this video, just make it short, just introduce Sim Theory. Great tool. Like I said, been using it for 2 years, actually developed by two brothers that live in Australia, and they've been refining this and improving the functionality of this. It's actually quite affordable. I think the entry-level plan is like $10 a month and you can use most of the functionality. I'm in the middle one. I think it's about $30 a month, but and then you get usage limits as well. So you can see inside your settings, you see your usage, and you get, depending on the Frontier tokens that you're using, input and output, and premium tokens. Premium tokens are mainly used when you're using, there's also the ability to generate images in here as well, and videos. And it shows you each time you're using something, how many tokens you're using on that particular model as well. So lots of transparency here. I really like that about the tool. But what I'll do in the next videos is I'm going to show you some assistants that I use pretty well all the time, and share with you some of the prompts that you can come in if you decide to use sim theory, or just simply use the prompts in ChatGPT. But some of the prompts that I use pretty well every single day to help me create ad copy, analyze accounts, do research, and help me improve my performance inside my Google Ads account. So great. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.